I'd like to get vaccinated, please. Okay, here you go, sir. Wait, does it contain the virus? Well, kinda. Ew, then I don't want it! But that's the point. How do you know it's not gonna kill me then? Well, it's safe because it's a mutated form that's weaker, so it can't actually infect you. So it's like a Netflix adaptation of the virus? Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. Now that the vaccines have been rolling out in the US for a while, I'm fully vaccinated and I hope you are too. Now, I made a mistake in the last video. COVID-19 does not mean the virus itself. The virus is called SARS-CoV-2 and it causes the disease COVID-19. The virus is not the COVID. You get COVID as a result of infection by SARS-CoV-2. So I apologize for my mistake in the last video and feel free to correct me or add new information in the comments in this one. In the last video, I mainly covered the coronavirus spike protein mechanism, how it actually gets its genetic material inside the cell and bypasses our cells via the ACE2 receptor. Next, I want to talk about the immune system and how the vaccine uses our immune system to make us immune to the virus, producing the side effects we experience after getting the shot. Now, the immune system. I won't go into detail here because immunology has so many cells and interactions between these cells that I would rather eat a textbook than learn all the pathways. However, there are a few basics to cover. There's two generalized pathways in the immune system: the innate and adaptive immune system. Innate comes first. They're kind of like the first wave of attack. Anybody remember that Plants vs. Zombies game? You start out with lame pea shooters that are slow and aren't very effective. And there's potatoes that slow down the zombies, because who doesn't want to eat potatoes? That's the innate immune system. You can think of these potatoes as your body's natural barriers, like the acidic pH of your sweat, your skin, and mucus. Yes, fun fact, your sweat can kill bacteria. The pea shooters are your natural killer cells, neutrophils, and macrophages, and other immune system cells. The innate immune system is the quickest to react to the pathogen or the antigen since it isn't specific to the type of antigen. It just sees potentially harmful stuff and flings defense mechanisms at it. Natural killer cells will recognize infected cells and kill them because the immune system tolerates no traitors. Macrophages are literal giants that straight up eat pathogens like the metal defense guards they are. By the way, their name literally means large eat, which is a career I aspire to have. Now, the adaptive system is the important one because they're the ones that the vaccines are intended to target. They're also the most effective against diseases because they can recognize specific pathogens. That's when you level up and get more plants and suns to buy the good stuff. These are more targeted and effective, but of course they take longer to show up. The adaptive immune system is further split into two pathways. The T-cell-mediated immunity, which is called the cell-mediated pathway. This part of the system is largely focused on killing infected cells, essentially purging the body of cells that have defected to the dark side. And then there's the B-cell-mediated immunity, which is the humoral pathway. No, it's not the humerus, and no, it's not full of humor. Humoral means the body's fluid, like your blood, lymph, saliva, etc. And these are the sites where the B cells are responsible for finding and killing off the pathogen invasion through the power of antibodies. This is the part of the immune system that the vaccine works most closely with, because the whole point of the vaccine, as discussed in my last video, is to generate specific vaccines that can attach to the spike protein of the coronavirus. Now, in the cell-mediated pathways, helper T cells recognize cells that have been infected and tell cytotoxic T cells to kill it. This is done through a pretty fascinating process that involves MHC proteins. No, they're not male hormonal chromosomes or maternal histamine cholesterol, both of which aren't actual things. They stand for Major Histocompatibility Complex, which, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. And the explanation behind these words takes some logical leaps as well. Okay, hear me out. Histo means tissue. Compatible means it can complement something, and complex refers to the group of genes that are responsible for coding these proteins. There are two types of MHC proteins, MHC1 and MHC2. MHC1 is a basic fellow. It's found on almost all cells except for red blood cells, and it's a hot dog bun-shaped protein that has the primary job of making the cell signal to others if it is infected. The protein will display a mangled peptide from whatever pathogen infected the cell in between the two hot dog buns. It's like the most cursed wedding ring box, except the cell isn't asking you to marry them, it's asking a cytotoxic T cell to kill them. When cytotoxic T cells notice this, they will release cytokines, which are chemical messengers that cause the infected cell to explode all its guts out and die. In fancy speak, that's called apoptosis. But all for the better good, of course, because now that cell can't be exploited and make more of the virus. Also, it turns out SARS-CoV-2 can delay the activation of T cells, especially the cytotoxic type, which kills your infected cells, so that's another reason to be scared of it. And also get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated. In conclusion, forget Major Histocompatibility Complex, just call it Hot Dog Infection Indicator 3000. MHC2, on the other hand, is more specialized. It is only found on antigen-presenting cells, which are cells that will display foreign particles, aka antigens, on their surfaces. This includes macrophages, dendritic cells, and other immune system kiddos. Let's say one of these cells discovers the virus antigen, either in its natural form invading the body or via a vaccine. It will swallow the whole virus up in a process called phagocytosis, where it takes the virus into custody by wrapping its membrane around it and essentially making the virus encapsulated in a little bubble. Then it injects some enzymes that breaks down the virus, chews it up, and spits it out on their surface. And just like when your cat kills a mouse and gives it to you as a treat, the macrophage will proudly present the shredded, gory remains of a virus with the MHC2. And then a helper T cell floating around the blood on its daily patrol will see that and go, "Wow, that's disgusting, but joke's on you, I'm into that because I was created with specific receptors that bind to this antigen on the surface of my membrane. In other words, I was born with the destiny of literally having one keyhole that only fits this antigen, so today's your lucky day." Then the T cell is activated. It duplicates itself, and then it activates a B cell that was created for the sole purpose of having a receptor that is specific to this antigen. Here's where things switch from cell-mediated to humoral immunity. So B cells make antibodies, which travel through the body's fluids and targets pathogens that way. Antibodies are proteins that target specific antigens, which are anything your body perceives to be a foreign particle. They do so by latching onto the pathogen perfectly like a puzzle piece, which means there's a lot of different variations of antibodies, each specific to the structure of an antigen. In the context of vaccines, these B cells will pull a big brain move and split into two types. One is the memory B cell type that will remember the specific antigen with an everlasting spiteful grudge, in this case, our wonderfully toxic SARS-CoV-2. So that the next time the virus comes knocking down our door, the memory B cell will be like, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die." The second type are plasma cells, which are the ones actively cranking out the antibodies. Memory B cells will divide and convert to these when the virus tries to infect a vaccinated person. That way they can blast the circulatory and lymph system with antibodies to shut down the invasion as fast as possible. So, to sum it up, when the vaccine enters your body, the adaptive immune system will make antibodies to counteract it, so that when the real virus tries to infect you, the antibodies will latch onto it and the immune system can destroy the invasion before it harms the body further. And so, major props to antibodies for saving the day. Now, where do the side effects from the vaccine fit into this? On the CDC site, they say that the local side effects at the site of injection include pain, redness, and swelling. That's most likely from histamine, which is a signal that causes swelling. As for the rest of your body, you may experience tiredness, headaches, muscle pain, chills, fever, and nausea. This is your body responding normally to the antigen. It's not even the vaccine, it's your body that's causing you this pain in its effort to respond to the vaccine. You get a fever because your body wants to raise the temperature high enough to kill off the virus and denature its proteins. Except it forgets that your own cells and proteins are susceptible to high temperatures as well. So, thanks, I guess. And a higher temperature is actually what causes chills as well. Since your body sets its core temperature, or perceived usual temperature, to a higher degree, it thinks you aren't warm enough to the new standard, and you feel colder as a result, despite being warmer than normal. And your second shot is usually worse, since your body already has the memory cells to produce the antibodies to combat the virus, and thus, it doesn't need to go through the slow buildup like the first response, it just dives right in and puts both your body and the injected vaccine through a beating. The double doses of the vaccine essentially amps your body up to help you build up more antibodies for higher immunity. You may feel terrible, but at least it's from the vaccine and not the actual virus. Thus, when the vaccine tries to infect you after you get vaccinated, your immune system is too buff and it will kill it before it can harm you. In contrast, when someone gets infected with the virus but is asymptomatic, this means they don't show any symptoms at all. SARS-CoV-2 can actually hide its genome and prevent the body from eliciting an immune response, making its ability to spread more dangerous. So if you think you're safe and can be infected and not be actually affected at all, you're not. Please get vaccinated. So, in summary, your immune system is pretty chad, and the vaccine is only going to strengthen it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if I missed something.